it could be very quick. And I think you could have far less base stations, so yes, faster rollout on 850 instead of 2.1 gigahertz.
Yeah, and the government also have what they call the national broadband policy, how that broadband policy has anything to do with this partnership between CAT Telecom and the two.
I think it's very closely linked, and you know, I'm aware of the Thai NBN policy, and I think it's a great thing. And if you look at Thailand, as I just mentioned, fixed line penetration is very low. So a national broadband network policy, which will bring many benefits to business and consumers in Thailand, has to have wireless as well as fixed. So, and in other countries where they have fibre in many places, people think about national broadband as fibre, but it's not just fibre. It's fibre plus DSL plus wireless broadband, and that is the practical solution. So I think Thailand and the Ministry of ICT is being very practical, and I think that if we get 3G, whether it be through TOT, CAT, through AASD, TAC, TRU, etc., I think it should play a role in a national broadband policy.
So the Thai people can expect speedy 3G and broadband services in coming months, you said in the second half of this year. Is that correct?
I hope so. I know that unfortunately one of the aspects of the Thai telecom industry is that every time we think we're moving forward, something makes us take a step back. I hope now that that is not the case, and I hope that people look for the solution to make things better rather than talk about why something cannot happen. And if we can do that as a whole industry, then I think there would be 3G this year, and there will be benefits for everyone in Thailand.
As the consultant, how the partnership between CAT and TRU works in Thailand? Okay,
so what I can say that I guess that has been publicly talked about is it's a 3-level model. So it follows standard principles of network company, operating company, and master wholesaler and service provider businesses at the top level. So CAT Telecom, which has very strong expertise in towers and transmission, it will have the network part of that business. There will then be a cooperation on the operating part of the business, which is the electronics and the network management, etc. And then there will be another level where CAT, as the owner of its spectrum, would wholesale that as the master wholesaler to service providers, of which one would be itself. CAT would have a 3G business nationwide, which is something it doesn't have today. And TRU would also have a service provider business, and other service providers could also start businesses.
And in terms of end user services, what we can expect in terms of education, healthcare, or government services from 3G and broadband?
I think broadband and 3G are great enablers of ICT, information and communications technology, and we've seen it all around the world, and that helps economic growth, productivity, it helps consumers in many ways, businesses in many ways. And in Thailand, I think you will find that, as has been mentioned by MICT with the national broadband policy, e-health, e-government, e-education are all enabled by having affordable, efficient and available broadband services around the country. So I definitely think those services will benefit people from 3G and broadband.
From the second half of this year onward?
I think, as I said, yes, as long as we don't have any unforeseen circumstances again that cause us to take a step back, I'm very much hoping.
So far, is there any problems, in your opinion, as the consultant?
Look, I can't talk specifically about anything under confidentiality, but what I can say is that publicly, some people, particularly some academics, are saying that are criticising the deal. And I think that what's happened in the past in Thailand is this has happened many times, and people are looking at some old regulations that were designed many years ago that do not fit the market today. And I think we need to get to a point where everyone, in the spirit of the regulation, not necessarily the letter of the regulation, says, how can we all move forward? Is this a good thing for Thailand, or is it not?
And in ASEAN, Thailand is definitely not an early bird in terms of 3G or broadband telecommunication. What's your assessment of the developments in ASEAN countries.
Yeah, you are correct. Unfortunately, because of some of these legacy issues, Thailand is one of the last, if not the last, to move to 3G in Thailand commercially. All the countries around Thailand, developing and developed, so from Singapore through to Indonesia, Cambodia, Laos, all have 3G services. Malaysia, Vietnam, etc. So
we are one of the last.
Yes, unfortunately we are.
And what about broadband?
Broadband, I mean, I think that in the last 2 years we've had a huge growth in fixed broadband in Thailand. We've had new companies sprout up which have licenses that they've been able to get from NTC to become broadband operators, service providers. TOT has rolled out more DSL. So I think we are still very low in penetration. We're still around 3 to 5% or so penetration of broadband, which is one of the lowest again in the region. But again, I think that needs to take a jump from 3G. We cannot assume in Thailand that outside of Bangkok we're going to have large fixed broadband, and that's what's holding us back right now.
So thank you, Mr. Dominic Arena, for joining our program.
Thank you, Kun Nopakun.
And that was our special report by Kun Nopakun Lim Saman Pan.